to this live stream. Yeah, we're definitely live. Great. Welcome everyone to this live stream. I'm Sergeant Major. I am one of your hosts today and with the senior committee, along with Brzezinski and our developers and founders, Walt and sorry, just coming through on your mic there, Brzezinski, I think.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Good morning, community. HSuite, how are you guys all doing? Hopefully everyone's fine. It's really nice to be here today on our first YouTube live, and I just want to say honored to be here with the T's for the first time. How are you guys all doing, Tom and Tapachi?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks a lot for. Oh, wait a second, Brzezinski. I think you have an echo on the microphone when I was speaking. Okay, I think now it's solved. All good. Here, happy to be here. One of those lives we don't do that often. We don't do those that often, but I think we will be doing more of those in this upcoming months, since we kind of freed just a little bit of time window to do some of those, me and Tom. But everything is going well, and excited to share some updates in this upcoming episode. Tom, pass the ball to you.
Yeah, hello guys, hello everyone. Very nice and happy to be here finally. Yeah, I mean, it's been years of like deep dedication into coding, so we are like coming out of the coding cave, so to speak. And definitely there's going to be like a long series of engagements and live and tutorials, educational things we're planning for you guys. So let's just start.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I just wanted to give a big welcome to the community, anyone out there that's listening live and anyone that watches the recording later on. I just want to welcome everyone. These are community lives that we'll be doing, I believe, weekly from now on. So yeah, we just had an introduction from our founders. Can you tell us a bit like what you've been up to recently, guys? Go over to you, Walt. What have you been up to this week?
Yeah, so well, in the last few weeks, let's say until this last week, we have been working hard in terms of the wallet that we are soon releasing, and also constantly working on the Smart Node v3 in parallel. Yeah, have been really crazy times, and also regarding the audits, which the wallet is being audited by Certic. It's been closed, and we will soon be going live with that. And it's super exciting because not only we're releasing a fresh new wallet with a great, incredible user experience and user interface, but also we are releasing a new Connect protocol, which is called HSuite Native Connect alongside of it. And by default, by day one, this wallet will be multi-chain by default. And as many of you know, besides Hedera, we have put a lot of effort into making sure that basically our technology and community as well will be well connected and bridged to the XRPL ecosystem. And you might ask why we have gone with the XRPL as a secondary choice after Hedera. Is because they're both very well. It was the most similar chain after Hedera, for which our smart node technology basically will be very compelled into being integrated to. But I mean, by now, actually, like we could technically implement our smart node technology as adapter to almost any chain. Of course, there will be different types of minimal nuances or things that you could do different. But XRPL also has like a native DEX already integrated with also order books. So not only you can do like AMM, like liquidity injection and trading, but also you can trade as if it was like a centralized exchange, in the sense that like you can place like limit orders and stuff like that, which was very compelling in order for us to expand to other ecosystem as a second option for a chain, you know. So we've been working on this, and very soon you will see the new wallet live. Very exciting of taking this journey. And I think it's really bullish also the fact that we will be soon in contact with many other chains, because what happens is like the interconnectedness of communities can only help enrich each community themselves, you know. So you'll see Hedera exposure towards other chains, and other chains with Hedera exposure, and so on.
That sounds great. That's great. That's a great update to hear that. Tom, can I go over to you for a sec? Perhaps you can tell us, you know, obviously this is a community project that's been building for many years on Hedera. The community hasn't really seen us or known us to do many of these kind of live streams. So why now?
Well, that's a good one. You know, guys, we've been always believing that faces and names should not be the trust line at all. And at the same time, we always believe that technology can and should be the basic trust line. So we tried very hard to start with this approach, which was trust the tech first, and later on you will see who we are, but that doesn't really matter, you know. I didn't want people to buy on our faces and names, but mostly on our technology. It's been hard, but it's been a wonderful journey as well. And the fact that we started with a totally decentralized treasury made by different anonymous people around the globe, randomly selected by Twitter campaigns and Discord campaigns and such, was fun. And it was one of the best start, because back in time we didn't have the tech ready like we have it today, but we had a dream. So the easiest and fastest way to be anonymous and decentralized was to create a multi-sig out of people. And here we are today, like 4 years later, with our funds safe, proper key management, proper membership, councils rotation over the years. So yeah, basically now that the technology is ready and people can really trust technology 100%, and we are about to release the V3 soon, which is going to be a game changer for several reasons we might be digging into later on. Basically we have the time to be here, because we are not coding so hard anymore, and we have the will to join the community, you know.
Yeah, you make a good point there, because a lot of projects, there's been a lot of projects, not just on Hedera, but all chains. There's been a lot of projects that, you know, they are very forward facing them from the very beginning. They're doxed, you know what I mean? And I think people, you know, can sometimes feel too confident or too relaxed diving in and trusting those projects just because people are doxed, and yet it hasn't really provided the protection for them when things have gone wrong that they thought that they were going to get. You know what I mean? It's not saved their bags when things have gone south, you know, when projects are bugged or things like that. So I think
if there's one word that you'd want to represent HSuite with, it would be resiliency, right? We've been through a lot as a community, as a team. I think one thing we can say for sure for Tom and Topachi is that the resiliency shows. They continue to build in whatever environment there is, and as we have always been community funded, it just shows. And the developments and what you guys are building forward, and what there is to see for the community coming forward in the short time, it's going to speak volumes. And I think that goes to saying, what is the main purpose? Like we were asking Tom, what is the main purpose of wanting to do live for YouTube? it resonates with our values, right? It's the core values and principles and being transparent with the community from day one. And I think HSuite wants to be more engaged with the community itself, as Tom stated and Tapachi have stated, that they are more free from the development side and they would like to market the product that they're developed, and they're ready to go out and audit for and spend an X amount of money doing so to create and solutions that they find are troublesome in our current space. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. And as a community, you guys can all agree that consistency is the name of the game. So every week on Thursdays at 4 p.m. UTC, you will see an HSuite Live to look forward to. And sometimes you'll have a direct interaction with the founders themselves. Sometimes there'll be committee members like ourselves. Maybe you'll see some HSuite community members that will be like, hey, you guys are more than welcome to join our spaces, join the live, and have a community conversation about what you guys want to see tease, develop, and build, and what you guys see in the growth of HSuite itself. But having said that, Tom, I would like to ask, since you've mentioned V3, what do we have looking forward to, and what can you share with us today?
Well, there's a lot that we can talk about, but we can also go for a brief overview of what's been happening and what's the state of art. But before we go that, yeah, I mean, resilience is definitely one of the words I would write down in stone. But there's also like dedication and passion, most probably, because, you know, there's several ways of doing things. And the way we like to do it is that we prove of concept first, and then we present it to the public. We did it since day one. Our own pre-sale has been running on the very first version of the smart nodes, you know. So it's like we built a very small prototype of the tech first, and then we asked people to play with it. And since that moment, we've been doing our best to keep releasing more products that would like fit into the suite that we're building. And yeah, well, the wallet was a direct consequences, as we've been saying already couple of times. But yeah, basically what's coming? Well, as you guys know, there's the wallet, there's the V3, there's the upcoming audit for the V3, which is going to be huge. And we've been talking a lot about like how HSuite is expanding. So we are going to have a look at like what chains we are embracing and what's the state of art of those, and how can HSuite expand in the future. About the wallet, basically we try to do it in a way that it's as decentralized as possible, and we ended up having zero centralized point of failure at all. Even the two-factor authentication that you can enable in the wallet is gonna be, I mean, the counter proof of the 2FA is gonna be stored in your own device. There's like no backend that knows anything at all about you. And the entire protocol is peer-to-peer protocol, meaning there's no relays in the middle, not even transitioning encrypted data, nothing at all. So whenever you connect using our protocol from the wallet to the app, it's going to be a direct peer-to-peer connection. The relay is going to be used only for the discovery phase. And we ended up doing the same for the multi-sig. So one gift, one Easter egg, which is not such an Easter egg anymore, is that the HSuite wallet will be coming with multi-sig capabilities by default. So that's a very important step, because we know people want to use it, you know. So that's very important for us to have, to give the possibility to everyone to use the multi-sig, not from a external app like we did so far in V1 and V2, but directly built into the wallet. You can go to the next slide now. Thanks. Yeah, well, basically testnet is live. We didn't want to make a big announcement just yet because we are keep improving things and fixing the latest bugs. So we are redeploying testnet constantly. So it's not open to the builders just yet. Builder access will be provided very soon. But if you guys go to HSuite.app and you go visit the network page, you will see that 3 smart nodes are already up and running. And they are already up and running with the V3 since a month almost, with 0 downtimes and very good error handling capabilities and rescue capabilities. We've been doing stress tests as well, and so far it's behaving nicely. So what do we have in mind basically is that V3 is on testnet. We're gonna take a couple of weeks more. Eventually, this current month to complete the tests and to start playing with our councils. They're gonna run their own smart nodes. They're gonna join the network. They're gonna leave the network. We're going to simulate some malicious behavior to verify that the banning system, the slashy system, it's all perfectly working. But clearly this is not enough for us. So we are doing this just because we love to go for the final audit with the most complete and professional product that we can. So we are gonna do those tests first, and then we are gonna open the testnet to the public. Meanwhile, we are gonna start our quotation and discussions with all the audit firms. We still haven't decided who is gonna be the firm that's gonna perform the audit of the V3. Most probably is going to be Certic because they've been doing an amazing job with the wallet, but it's not written in stones just yet. The only thing is that the V3 is massive, huge. It's made out of different components. I don't want to go into too much details now unless you ask for it, but it's very big. Okay, so
Tom, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Since you're speaking about V3, actually. Obviously, you just said that when it comes to, we're still basically working out who's going to do the audit. It's a massive piece of software. It's a big job, much bigger than the wallet that we had audited. But it's basically, from what you've said to me in the past, it's basically like 98% finished. So is there any likelihood that we're going to get V3 onto testnet at all before it actually is audited?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like,
okay,
during May, we are gonna go like a closed release. So the council will be testing the node running mechanism, the banning, the malicious attempts, all those kind of things. So we run, so to speak, our internal audit first. Once this is done, then the testnet V3 will be officially open and released to the public. So developers can start playing with it. They can report bugs if they found any. Most probably we will be running some bug bounty campaign as well. And in parallel, we are going to start the audit. Specifically for that reason that V3, it's so huge that most probably the audit is going to take several months to be fully completed in deep, So during those months, instead of letting people waiting, we are going to release the documentation, the tutorial, the coding lessons, the tech specs about how the V3 works in details for those that want to know more. And a few other things. So it's going to be a process that is going to work in parallel, V3 testnet for the devs and the audit before going live, because as the slide said, we don't ship until it's bulletproof, right?
How close are we? Go ahead, Brzezinski.
Tom, I just had a quick question. Since you were mentioning about developers, is there any implementation to have a scheduling for possibly developer workshops that you guys may be doing to coincide and help onboard developers on HSuite?
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely gonna start with tutorials and lessons, but it's absolutely our idea and wish as well to be running like maybe bi-weekly coding lives, streaming, or even on Discord if people wants to jump on like specific meeting to dive deep. We are definitely gonna be there because this is the moment where creativity gets into the point of freedom, so to speak. You know, once the tech stack
Awesome.
is there, and then you understand how you can puzzle things up, then it's all about learning how to play with the tools. And yeah, I mean, there's a spoiler. I don't know if I'm gonna say it now. Should I? Yeah, let's shoot it.
Oh no, I think you should share.
We are working on our own AI model, which is going to be specifically trained to do smart app development. So, you know, until a couple of years ago, the idea was to make the smart node multi-language, so people can write smart apps in Python, TypeScript, PHP, Ruby on Rails, or any other language they would like, accordingly to the SDK being released for those specific languages in time. But like 6 months ago, we were like, okay, you know what, man, eventually, instead of porting the library into so many languages, which we should just make it like human language, you know, in such a way that you can talk to an AI, give your idea, and the AI already knows how to set it up for a smart app working with the V3 engines, the rules, and all those kind of things. So yeah, we have a couple of slides more. Can you scroll right? Yeah, thank you. So about the ledgers, guys. Brads, I think you're bringing echo back. Yeah, thank you, man. So about the ledgers, we've been working crazy hard, and we ended up with a nice set of 7. As you guys know, we are Hedera first, so Hedera clearly is built in. Then we wanted to expand to XRPL, and straight after we realized that Stellar basically was very easy to integrate because the new V3 architecture has been done in a way that all the internal processes, they are fully chain agnostic. And then every single chain is a specific adapter. So it's just one package for Hedera, one package for XRPL, one package for Stellar, and so on. And they all can be hooked into the same V3 technology stack without any changes at all. So after Stellar, we wanted to include Solana and Polkadot as well. And those 5 ledger, they are like 100% ready to be tested and released. And we are currently working on Bitcoin and Cardano, which most probably by the end of this month would be ready, because again, writing an adapter, once you have all the stack and the architecture that can support this, is not such a complex thing. It takes times, it takes audits, it takes security measurements, of course, but it's not like rewriting the entire smart engines to be Cardano specific or Bitcoin specific, right? We don't see any EVM ledgers just yet, but this is not because we cannot go EVM. is mostly because we wanted to give priority to those 7 ledgers, which allows native interaction with tokens and wallets and so on. I think EVM might be there by 2027. There's several problems that we have to solve. Well, not problems, several architectural decisions that we have to take, like how to adapt the smart contract, maybe utilizing the multi-sig smart contract provided by Gnosis Safe. So technically speaking, there is some more step to bring EVM and smart contract compatibility into V3. Yet is definitely feasible, and we are going to accomplish this most probably next year, because I mean, even though we don't have to use contract nowadays, there's many projects and protocols that are still using contracts. So if you can just upgrade your contract, and all of a sudden, instead of having single SIGs, you can have multi-sig protected by a decentralized network that obeys to immutable rules, then it would be a new era for the smart contract as well, to be hooked in that kind of technology stack. So we are planning EVM for 2027. That's like another sneaky peeky. Don't tell anyone, guys.
There's just a lot of presents being given to the community today, Tom.
Yeah.
It's amazing
A lot
news.
of tidbits here or there. Tom, I was just going to ask you, just to rewind a little bit. I'm not sure if you mentioned, but with the with regards to our wallet, that is basically done pretty much, essentially. When are the community? When mainnet, basically? When mainnet for our wallet? You know.
That's a good question. I think is not any long time to be waited for. The last info, I'm just looking at the chat right now. The last infos we had from Certic is that by Friday they should reach us back. So basically, the state of art is that they audited, and we've been fixing with remedies the bugs that they found. Then they re-audited our fixes, and finally we reiterate all the tests and all those kind of things to be sure that the wallet has as less UI bug as possible. We found some UI UX bug that Lego has been fixing it, and now we reverted back for the last time to Certic to be 100% sure that those functional fixes are not opening any security issue at all. And so we are at the final step of the process, basically. Might be next week, might be in 2 weeks, but it's just about going to hit.
Awesome.
Oh,
so basically,
news.
yeah. So it's 99% pretty much guaranteed that people are going to be using the new wallet this month, basically, before the end of this month. It's pretty much guaranteed. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me just take a quick look at what we've got coming up here. Yeah, I had a question for you. Fast forwarding again to what you were talking about, the multi-chain and the various different ledgers. Would it be safe to say that each ledger, from a multi-chain approach, it's not just about having that programmability on each chain. It's every chain has its pros and cons, right? Every chain offers something different. So is it fair to say that, we're going to look to HSuite, and whenever you're building, you're looking to try and exploit each chain for what it's best at? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. There's this kind of tribalism going on, like who's gonna be the winner. But as long as you compare layer 2 EVM layer 2 ledgers then okay, fine. Maybe there's going to be one which is going to win over others because they are offering the same thing, right? But if you compare Hedera with XRPL, I don't think like one of them is going to win, the other one is going to lose. It's like they're clearly targeting to different segments, and they are offering different tools. On Hedera, you don't have a native DEX capable to do automated market making and order book in a decentralized way. There's no way to have this. But you have the consensus service, which is a notary timestamp, organized, guaranteed sequence of messages that you can use for storage, for data retrieval, for proof, for cryptographic proof, for whatever you need it. You know, hopefully we are gonna have a bridgeless way to move assets between ledgers. So that's another crazy features whenever it will be ready and release it to the public, hopefully soon. So that you don't have that on XRPL, right? But then they both have something in common. Like you can mint a token, you can burn a token, you can transfer a token, you can associate, dissociate with different names, can be association or trust line, but doesn't really matter. So there is something in common, but then they have different single point of sale, so to speak. So with our technology, you would be able to create a smart app which is actually trading into XRPL DEX, and at the same time is keeping cryptographic proof into the HCS, Hedera Consensus Service, and most probably in the future is using the Clipper to move funds between XRPL and Hedera, you know. And this is out of the box with one language, one programming language, one SDK, no code changes required. And you can basically, through the smart validator network, you can decide to be multi-chain on a app level, not only on an SDK level. So your smart app doesn't have to be Hedera or XRPL or Stellar. Can be all of them at the same time, and you can choose in which chain you are going to do what, you know. Most probably for your DAO, you are going to use Hedera because DAO really fits well into the consensus service with timestamps and proposals and votes, signatures, and all those kind of things, you know. So yeah, that's the beauty and of the architecture that we have been intensively building up during those years, that hopefully is going to allow developers to be agile when writing code and stop taking compromises, you know, because if I choose Hedera, then I have the topics, eventually have the bridgeless solution, but I don't have the native DEX. If I go XRPL because I want the native DEX, I have no way to store messages in a consensus topic. So going with one solution has always been a compromise for developers, which always ends up in patches or workarounds or mid solution that are not as flexible as they should be by now, you know. So our main intention is to bring programmability in a higher level, that it's like chain agnostic by design, to facilitate developers to embrace a new kind of journey.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Tom. The slide that's just come up now, could you please tell us a little bit about what kind of things people can expect, you know, and why these, you know, what can people expect and get out of these YouTube lives? And, you know, with regards to educational content, things like developer workshops. Obviously, you know, smart contracts have been around forever, but they're an inferior technology. we've developed something superior, but it's about education. It's about getting that, developers come along and they say they're unsure until, they don't know that this might actually be easier to build with. So, with those developer workshops, how do you see that going? How do you plan to engage with other developers during those workshops and these YouTube lives?
Well, there's many ways. I will surely be the one coding live and linking open source GitHub repository, so people can both watch the video and study the source code, or just git clone and modify it the way they need it. But I'm fully open to do even live session with multiple people, or they can bring their idea. And there's a lot that we can do. We have the HSuite Duna now, which is basically the beginning of what the HSuite Foundation can be. So there's gonna be hackathon, there's gonna be creativity meeting, and I welcome everyone to participate, not only to the events that we propose, but also to become proactive. Meaning, if you guys get some idea about how we can do better training, or if we should do one event every 6 months where we meet live and we do coding session live in person, or we do it monthly, remotely. Anything, guys, you want to come up with, we're here. We have our own marketing strategies. We have our own educational program in place, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. It means that we gave our best to put it in place, but we remain open to welcome any feedback and any suggestion of improvements or ideas that can push the entire project to the next level.
And that's all what I think the community would like to hear, Tom. One thing I'd like to readdress to the community directly is the purpose of why HSuite wants to be on YouTube Live is, again, educational content, right? It's been an ask from the community for a long time now that we need to be more socially interactive, more engaged, and have the founders itself present these things to the community to have growth, expand more further. As now everyone is aware, we're trying to expand to 7 different chains. That requires a lot of social interaction. You have to have exposure online as well as X spaces. And I think the address here is going to be, this is what HSuite is going to do now for the community to look forward to. You better like and subscribe, because HSuite's YouTube channel is definitely going to get a lot more traction. We're going to be a lot more active on a consistency basis. And you can definitely look forward to it, whether it be production development demos. For example, next week we can show some wallet demo that the T's Thinker is ready to be presentable for the community, or V3 testnet walkthroughs, right? So these are all things to look forward to, and I think the committee itself just wants to address this to the community, that everything is going to be more organized and according to what a structured plan should be for growth. The key area is here to have a direct interaction with the community, gain more social exposure on the internet as well as other community blockchains, and have other community members join in on the community that is already present to engage with, and to talk about the tech that's been built to last. But I think that's generally what the idea is and the concept is for what YouTube Live is going to be. So you guys have a lot to look forward to.
100%. I think with this very first episode of our YouTube Lives, it's a learning process for all of us. Usually we're either typing to each other in Discord, or we're having closed private voice conversations. So it's a little bit of uncharted territory for all of us. So please forgive us if it's a little bit rough around the edges, teething problems. But as we become more comfortable with it, the natural flow and the quality of these productions are going to get a lot better. Having said that, this is an hour broadcast and we've literally just hit 40 minutes. So the last 20 minutes is for our Q&A session, which I'm going to move into now. I've got a hell of a lot of pretty testing questions for you guys in Discord, but I just want to look at the comments from our live stream here, coming from YouTube. And I've got one interesting one here regarding the audit, which you guys were talking about. And this is all of these questions. Well, I think this one probably I'll send to you, Tom, but I'll definitely have some for Tapachi as well. Are the financials for the engine audit okay? I assume the audit will be large and expensive. So they're basically asking, you know, what's the money situation with regards to getting the audit done, Tom?
Yeah, I can take these questions. So yeah, at the moment we are at a point where, as Tom stated before, we are finalizing a few internal audits and testing of the smart engines v3. And the next step will be basically to get in contact with the auditing company. Well, let's assume it's Certic, even if it's not 100% sure yet. And it will take them some time to basically analyze the code base, understand like the number of lines of code and the scope and everything. And we expect it's gonna take time and it's gonna be costly. And in terms of financial, yeah, we have different options that we're considering, that we're taking into consideration in terms of financing the audit. Nothing that we can fully disclose yet, because we still need to understand a little bit better what type of numbers we're talking about, and also understanding what type of deals we could get with the auditing company, you know, because there are different variables that still need to be figured out to this day. And we don't wanna basically disclose anything that it's completely like uncertain to this moment, for which we don't have certainty about. But yeah, money is not really an issue, and we will definitely
that makes sense.
Get that through.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And I'll just remind everyone as to the back end of that question. It's not just about the money; it's also the fact that, you know, it's going to take months, right? It's so large that also means it's not just expensive. That also means it takes a hell of a lot of time. If you think about how long something like a wallet takes, you know, that's basically like a month of audit time, pretty much, you know, especially when you've got all the revision work at the end of it, then over a month. So something like this is going to take a really, 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 really long time. Moving on to our Discord questions. We've got a lot of questions from Nick Chubbs here. Question one, I'll just break it all down, guys. I'll let you two decide who's the best to answer these questions, all right? So it's up to both of you, and whichever one of you wants to chime in for these, you go ahead. If you had to critique, so if you had to criticize HSuite, what would be the top priorities to improve on, and what are the top strengths of HSuite, you know? So basically, what can HSuite improve on, and what are our biggest strengths that HSuite has to offer to other ledgers, other chains?
Yeah, that's a funny one. Well, I think we should give both our visions. Well, for me, like the strongest one is surely like dedication and resiliency, as we said before, commitment, so to speak. Like we've been building since 4 years, like one pre-sale only. After we ended the pre-sale, HBAR prices dropped badly. And then we've been having like 4 years of bear market, where bullish moment were just few ones and lasting few weeks. So yeah, that's one of our strengths. We've been very good at managing funds, proper management of the entire treasury, actually, and commitment, that dedication into coding and delivering, doesn't matter what's going on around us. We saw many one failing, and we never got like demotivated by those events, even though it was difficult. And what are we lacking? Where I would say we've been into the coding cave for way too long, so we've been definitely lacking communication, social engagements. I'm doing my best now that I have a few hours free every day, by being more present on socials. Even though someone commented I should go back on coding, but yeah, that's fine. So yeah, definitely not transparency, because we did our best to be transparent, but eventually we did it mostly through Discord. So someone that is not on Discord didn't got the message. So definitely I would say social engagement with the community and a more clear communication channel. And guys, talking about that, I want to take the chance to to remind you all that from now on, if you go to HSuite.app, there's a news page where you can read all our latest official announcements. So no more excuses, guys. There's no Discord, there's no Twitter, it's not like any social platform. It's our own official website where you can find all the latest infos. So just go there and stay tuned.
Yeah, I concur with everything you basically said, and we can go to
no, man, you can't. Question. You can't. Rejected. You have to bring your own points. I made it difficult, though. I took the easiest one.
Well, I've got something. I've got something special here for Tapachi, so he can take this one. And guys, we've got a lot of questions, and we've not got a lot of time. So please try and answer these questions directly, and then we'll move. Think of it from now. It's basically quick fire round questions. All right. Even though the questions might be complicated, it's all basically quick fire questions here. Here we go. So, any thoughts on eventually implementing TSS? That's threshold signature schemes for people like me and everyone else that doesn't know what this stuff is. Wouldn't this allow easier management of wallets that don't use multi-sig? It could also provide a unified security layer when expanding.
Is this related to the V3, I imagine, or wallet?
I'm not sure. Again, any thoughts on eventually implementing TSS threshold signature schemes? Wouldn't this allow easier management of wallets that don't use multi-sig? I'm not sure. I hope you guys know what that means.
I'm not 100% sure, because in the V3, the TSS is already integrated. If it's talking about the Smart Engine V3, so that it's done, and we also have Crystal, Stellium, post-quantum ready cryptography. So we're basically top of the line security as far as that concerned. In terms of like wallets, like we were thinking of introducing some kind of extra cryptography to it, but it didn't make much sense, in the sense that like it was like overdoing it at that point, and there was no reason, as each chain would have its own cryptography by default. So we just adopted the regular standards of NSOC 2, SOC 2 compliance.
Awesome.
Yeah, but just to shoot an idea in 30 seconds. Basically, if you use our wallet, you will be able, once V3 is on mainnet, we can create a smart app as a widget. So from within the wallet, you can use this smart app, and you can create a multi-sig between you and the smart engines. You can define the rules, like I can withdraw only the first day of the month at 12 and only 2K, and then only from this wallet as receiver. So even though you got hacked, the only thing that can happen is that they can send money to your wallet, and that's it. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do thanks to DKG, TSS, Frost, and Dilithium. But this is a very technical thing, and I don't think we have the time now. But that's a good question for the next time. Absolutely.
Well, you guys are going to love this question, because you could probably sit here and talk about this for an hour just on its own. But yeah, you've got about a minute to somehow answer this question. Okay, no. Take your time.
That's
take
right.
your time. What are your opinions, both pros and cons, on the recently announced CLPR from Hedera? What are your pros and cons thoughts on that, and also on hooks? Obviously, hooks, and how do you view those as either do they either complement HSuite, or do you view them more as a competitor to HSuite? So yeah, kind of two questions into one with all of that.
Okay. Well, about the bridgeless solution, I've got several points. I think the idea is great. I trust the fact that Lemon might have some tech spec properly written, but it's just not published, so it's impossible to find it. From what we can grab around blogs and announcements, it's a good idea, but it's far away from being applied, simply because think about it. It's bridgeless because it's basically required to install a relay into any other ledger. So usually you have one ledger, another ledger, and the bridge, right? So the bridge is something outside the ledgers. What Hedera is trying to do is that you have Hedera. Inside Hedera, you have this bridgeless solution, but then Ethereum, Solana, Stellar, XRPL, they must install and integrate this relay into their own network in order to be capable to participate in the same consensus protocol that Hedera is using. And I wonder which ledger is going to do it, considering the risk that are involved with bridging and such, and when is going to do it. So who's going to be the first ledger taking this on? Like, we don't know, So even though they have the Clipper ready, which might be ready, but we don't know. It's not on testnet. There's no source code. There's no spec file. There's just an idea. The idea is great, but it requires transparency that we don't have right now. So I can't technically fully evaluate. And from the few infos I have, it requires every ledger to install this bridgeless relay into their own L1. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So again, it's a good idea. I hope to see it live soon. And because if it's there, we can use it, And it's the same with hooks. Like, hooks are like what we call remote functions, which we do have in our V3. Clearly, you can write a remote function on smart engines, and this would work on Hedera, XRPL, Stellar, and all the chain that we are embracing. If you write and deploy a hook into Hedera, it's going to work only into Hedera, So it's not necessarily bad. It's not even competing against. It's just another feature. So clearly we will implement Hedera hooks into our SDK. Yes, we will, but it's going to be Hedera only feature because other chain don't have it. Instead, if you use our remote function, you can have the same functionality or even wider than Hedera hooks, but working by default in a chain agnostic way. So it's different scopes. Again, developers can easily decide if they want to deploy a Hedera hook for some specific action and utilize the hook from the smart apps. That's definitely possible. So the thing is, the more the ledgers grow and the more the ledgers will offer native capabilities, the easier and the better is going to be for HSuite to grow, because we are going to embrace all those native features and bring them into our SDK. So it's a win-win for us. The more they grow, the more we grow, you know.
Got it. I've got a question right here for Tapachi. I definitely want to give him something to talk about. This one is a little bit, it's about the token, I guess, a little bit tokenomicsy. Since we're going multi-chain very soon, and it's always been in our ethos to be decentralized as a project, decentralized as a token, we're no longer listed on any sexes. We're just basically available on DeFi. When we spread our wings and we go multi-chain, do you think we will remain in that decentralized form and will only be available via DeFi, or do you think we'll be available on any centralized exchanges?
Yeah, that's a good question. Many of you know that in the past, I mean, most of us know our ethos, and like Tom was explaining before, like we started our journey undoxed, you know, we didn't want to show our faces, not because we were scared or we wanted to do anything malicious, but we wanted to prove a point for which, like, when the tech is good, you can trust the code is law, you don't need to see any faces, name or last name and such, right? Then like we had a lot of push toward, and there was a time where like a lot of people in the communities were writing on Discord like when checks, and I'm like, all right, let's explore the options of these checks. Everybody want us to be in a checks. Let's spend some money and do diligence and blah 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 to get into checks. We went to Bitmart for a while, but we cannot really disclose all the full details. But for us, centralized exchange is it's a downgrade nowadays, like with everything that has been happening in the world, like Web3 finance, and the reason for which Web3 was born was exactly to avoid this type of trading. Like trading on FX, it's like almost like paper trading or like Web2 trading. Like doesn't really make any sense, especially when you have like technologies like XRPL, which is a native order book, which you can trade as if it was a checks, but in a decentralized way. That's amazing. And with this multi-chain expansion, for, like I said, for everything, the direction for which everything is going, also with the AI agents, eventually like integrated with the Web3 for like tokenizations and stuff. Personally, we don't want to go into any centralized exchange, but we only want to use decentralized protocols because we strongly believe that is the future, and eventually regulations will be catching up on those and follow a lot of standards for which we are already following.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm sure everyone's happy to hear that. Everyone likes a decentralized approach, I think.
Yeah, and one thing you
prefer that.
Just to add up on that. Before the justification of being on a sex was the fact that most people wanted to they wanted easy accessibility into trading, buying and selling, cashing out, and all those type of things. But nowadays there's a lot of on and off ramp solution that still allow you to do most of your operations on a DeFi manner instead of a CeFi manner, you know? So before there was that excuse, but nowadays there is not that excuse anymore. And people, and as much as before, want to kind of safeguard their own privacy and do not trust. After all, many scandals that have been going on with like centralized exchanges, they do not trust those entities as much anymore and prefer much better to like use like a non-custodial solutions, you know, and protocols.
We're almost right at the end of the stream here. I'm just going to come in with one real quick question now. You've got about 15 seconds to answer this one, please, Tom. It's a really easy question, hopefully. It's regarding public node runners and Shiba Gold NFTs. So 2 questions in one. Will everyone be getting their Shiba Gold NFTs back now that node running has finished? And 2, will they still have any meaningful utility or not?
Yes, they're gonna have the NFTs back, and nope, the utility has been already like used during those years. So yeah, they are definitely gonna get it back. We are gonna release all the staked amount of HSuite and the NFTs at the same time. Basically, we consider this like we've been running for 1 year with those guys. They've been committing themselves to the network, but we didn't release the V2 because it was not chain agnostic. So considering that, we realized that in order to be efficient and to get mass adoption, we needed to get chain agnostic and multi-chain first. We basically dropped the V2 and jumped into the V3 directly, also to avoid spending double money for audits. So those guys have been super good in stagging and waiting for running a node. We couldn't because of several technical reasons that you guys know. But yeah, the NFT will be ending, at least the Shiba one. Then we will soon release new announcement about how the smart node running is going to work, because we will have 3 different things to be running: validators, hosts, and gateways. But this is for the next episode, guys.
Okay. I think that's enough information regarding smart node runners for today. Thank you, everyone, for all the questions that were asked. And we're sorry that in the short amount the time that we had today, we were not able to address all the questions that were asked. Tom and Topachi, thank you so much for being here today on YouTube Live, and for the community, on behalf of the entire committee of HSuite and the HSuite team, we're really appreciative for everyone that tuned in today, or for our viewers that will tune in on the recording. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we look forward to you communicating with you guys on a week-to-week basis. I just would like to emphasize that all news can be found on the HSuite main website. If there's anything current in terms of announcements, that's the way to go. And we look forward to talking to you and educating you guys with more content by the developers in the future. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank all the
Thank you,
community
everyone.
and
Thank you,
everybody
everyone.
joining.
See you at the next one.
Take care, guys. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.